So good afternoon everyone, good afternoon sir. This is the module of instruction of group 8 for the qualification carpentry in situ superseded for basic competencies. My group mates Dexter Foliero and Alvin Sanchez. I am John Jerome Guason. So we have 4 units of competencies in the basic competency of carpentry in situ. First unit of competency, participate in workplace communication. Module title, participating in workplace communication. Module descriptor. This unit covers the knowledge, skills, and attitude required to gather, interpret, and convey information in response to workplace requirements. The nominal duration is composed of 18 hours divided by 4 unit of competencies, so equals to 4 hours and 30 minutes. Summary of learning outcomes. First learning outcomes is obtain and convey workplace information. Second, participate in workplace meetings and discussions. The third is complete relevant work-related documents. So kinuha po namin siya sa section 2, competency standards ng TR. Ang mga learning outcomes. The first learning outcomes is obtain and convey workplace information. Ang contents po ay kinuha po namin sa underpinning skills and that underpinning knowledge sa TR. And ang conditions naman po ay kinuha din namin sa range of variables sa competency standards din po ng range ng training regulation. And the methodologies, group discussion and interaction, and assessment methods, demonstration, observation, and interviews questioning. Kinuha po namin ang methodologies and assessment methods sa section 3, training standards ng training regulation. Learning outcomes number 2 is participate in workplace meetings and discussions. So ang contest naman po ay kinuha din ulit namin sa underpinning skills and underpinning knowledge. The contest is communication procedures and system technology relevant to the enterprise and the individual's work responsibilities. Third, participate in workplace meetings and discussions, complete work-related documents, and so on. And ang conditions po is memorandum, circular, notice, information, discussion, follow-up, or verbal instruction, face-to-face communication. Nakuha po namin yan sa range of variables. Methodologies, discussion, interaction, assessment method, demonstration, observation, interviews, questioning. Sa learning outcomes number 3, complete relevant work-related documents. Content, ability to relate to people of social range in the workplace. Second, provide information in response to workplace requirements. And conditions, face-to-face, telephone, electronic, two-way radio, written including electronic memos, instruction, and forms nonverbal including gestures, signals, signs, and diagrams. And methodologies, discussion, interaction, the assessment methods, demonstration, observation, and interviews, questioning. So sa second unit of competency is work in team environment. The module title, working in team environment. Module descriptor, this unit covers the skills, knowledge, and attitudes to identify and responsibility as a member of team. Nominal duration 4 hours and 30 minutes. Summary of learning outcomes, describe team role and scope, identify own role and responsibility within team, work as a team member. So again, learning outcome number 1, describe team role and scope. Kinuha po namin ulit ang contents nito sa underpinning skills, underpinning knowledge ng TR. And conditions, operating and or workplace procedures, job procedures, organizational or external personnel. Sa range of variables naman po ito namin kinuha, and methodologies, discussion, interaction, and assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. Methodologies and assessment, again kinuha po, din po namin ulit sa section 3, training standards ng TR. The second, learning outcomes, identify own role and responsibility within team. The contents, team roles, team structure, communication process, conditions, work procedures and practices, conditions of work environment, legislation, and industrial agreements. Methodologies, discussion, interaction, the assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. And sa third, learning outcomes, work as a team member. Contents, communicate appropriately consistent within the culture of the workplace. Conditions, legislation, and industrial agreement, standard practice including the storage, safe handling, and disposal of chemicals. Methodologies, discussion, and interaction. Assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. So sa third, unit of competency is practice career professionalism. The module title is practicing career professionalism. The module descriptor, this unit covers the knowledge, skills, and attitude in promoting career growth and advancement. Nominal duration is 4 hours and 30 minutes. The summary of learning outcomes. First, learning outcomes, integrate personal objectives with organizational goals, set and meet work priorities, maintain professional growth and development. The contents, appropriate practice of personal hygiene, intra and interpersonal skills, communication skills. The condition, performance appraisal, psychological profile, aptitude test. The methodologies, discussion, interaction, and assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. Learning outcomes number 2, set and meet work priorities. Contents, work values and ethics, code of conduct, code of ethics, company policies, company operation, procedures, and standards. Conditions, human, financial, technology, hardware, software. Methodologies, discussion, interaction, and assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. So, maintain professional growth and development, the third learning outcome, fundamental right, work including gender sensitivity, personal hygiene, the condition, participation in training programs, technical supervisor, managerial, continuing education, serving resource persons in conference and workshops. Methodologies nito po is discussion, interaction, assessment methods, demonstration, observation, interviews, and questioning. So sa last unit of competency naman po is practice occupational health and safety procedures. The module title, practicing occupational health and safety procedures. Module descriptor, this unit covers the outcomes required to comply with regulatory and organizational requirements for occupational health and safety. The nominal duration is 4 hours and 30 minutes. Summary of learning outcomes. We have 4 learning outcomes. First is identify hazards and risk. Second, evaluate hazard and risk. Third, control hazard and risk. Fourth is maintain OHS awareness. The first learning outcomes is identify hazards and risk. So again, kinuha po din ulit namin ang contents nito sa underpinning skills and underpinning knowledge sa section 2 ng TR. Conditions, range of variables, methodologies and assessment methods, Sa Section 3, training standards ng training regulation. Learning outcomes number 2, evaluate hazards and risk. The contains OHS procedures and practices and regulations, PPE types and uses, personal hygiene practices, hazard, risk and identification and control, conditions, Clean Air Act, Building Code, National Electrical and Fire Safety Codes, Waste Management, status and rules, Philippine Occupational and Safety, Health and Standards, DOLE regulation and safety legal requirements. And methodologies naman po nito is discussion, plant tour, symposium, the assessment method, observation, interviews, and questioning. The third, learning outcomes, control hazard and risk. The contents, threshold limit value, TLB, OHS indicators, organization safety and health protocols, safety consciousness and health consciousness. The condition, evacuation, isolation, decontamination, calling design emergency personnel. The methodologies, discussion, plot, symposium, and assessment methods is observation, interviews, and questioning. And the last, learning outcomes is maintain OHS awareness. The contents of this is organization safety and health protocol, safety consciousness, and health consciousness. The conditions, fire drill, earthquake drill, basic life support, CPR, first aid, spillage control, decontaminations of chemical and toxic, disaster preparedness and management. Na methodologies nito ay discussion, plant tour, symposium, and the assessment methods is observation, interviews, questioning. And that would be all po. Thank you.